Oh man, it's cold. Okay, just gonna get a thought down. Thought on tape, so to speak. Not literally on tape. On tape as a matter of speaking. Not as a matter of metaphor either. I'm not using it as a metaphor. It's just an expression. Anyway, what I was thinking about is this whole trying to figure out the shape of the moment, time, like Fred is doing with his Play-Doh. But because I'm on a walk, I was thinking, okay, how would I think of it? And the laziest thing I can come up with. Maybe I can make a shape of my own with Play-Doh or Legos or whatever, or make a drawing. I can make my own. I can resurrect an old series. Actually, that's probably a good idea. I can resurrect Gary's. Do I have to draw you a picture? I think he's only done a few. But in any case, what I was thinking is that when we're walking forward, my first thought was that we go through time as though we were walking backwards, because we don't know where we're headed, but we can clearly see what has already taken place, and we can research the facts. We can research evidence of the past, but we can't really clearly research evidence of the future. We can kind of like guess, but there's more of like a remnant that we have like a nice broad view of. We take care to take a sweeping view. So I'm walking backwards, and that's the past. But that doesn't really represent things, because that would entail that I have absolutely no idea what the future is, and I only have this fleeting idea that's moving very quickly by me of the present, which is sometimes true, but not all the time true. I'm gonna take a detour. I'd like to finish this little blab of mine. So I thought there was this weird, not a duality. I don't know. There's a weird. It's not contradictory either. I don't know. It's this weird thing. This weird pairing of concepts that I can come up with that have to do with walking, and that as so far as it comes to being aware of a very real thing, life is like walking backwards. However, on the other side of it, when it has to do with opportunity, possibility, it's like walking forwards. So in front of me, while I'm walking forward, I see very real potential things that could be right under my feet, besides me, barely away, way far off, and I'll pass them and I'll try to reach them. But it's more of a realm of hypotheticals, because by the time you get there, by the time I get to this tree, maybe the tree won't be there anymore. I know this is where like the metaphor breaks down, but we're talking about not a real solid path that we're walking on. We're talking about a path of potential, things that we're not very certain of. And in this metaphor, we have this weird, we're walking through a land of potentiality. But the moment I cross, let's say this hypothetical point, whether or not it really was a tree, let's say it does happen to be a tree, and I get it, and I touch the tree. Now we can switch to the opposite side of ourselves and say that behind us, our view of the past is like walking backwards. So the moment that we look back, if we look back, it's no longer a land of potentiality. It's very solid things that are there. So ahead of me, if I look ahead of myself where I'm walking, all I can see, what I see is a land of possibility. But when I look behind, what I see is just a viewpoint that's that's containing more and more things that I've walked by. Some of them are very, very far away. It's hard for me to see. You know, the most immediate things are the easiest things to recall, to look at, to analyze. So yeah, I think those two things are happening at the same time, and ahead of ourselves is this thing. I don't know, maybe I'm just stating the obvious, but I guess that's just a way to sum up the way I was thinking about this. Of course, I can take this somewhere else when I have time to think about it, or if I think about it more. It's not so cold. It's probably just going to be in the daytime, but it's going to be getting colder anyways. It's this time of season. But anyway, so yeah, I thought that was kind of funny, you know, because like it didn't really work out, you know, looking at time and in that one sense of like, oh yeah, it's just me walking and seeing where I'm going, or seeing where I've been. It's the two at the same time, and two metaphors that are based off of the same kind of image that I'm making, and kind of like work the same way, but not exactly, and they're occurring simultaneously. So there's the potential, a very big land of potential that kind of like gets narrower and narrower as I get to it. I mean, like, this pole is hard to see and very blurry. By the time I get to it, it's more clear, but it's never so clear as when I'm right up against it. And when I look behind me where I've been, things are going away from me. But rather than a lot of things getting a lot more in focus, I'm getting things getting added to a collective. I don't know. Whatever. I mean, I hope you guys get some sort of idea from what I've said. Anyway, toodaloo.